Hey everybody, I'm Belinda Sandor. Today we're going to talk about having a niche and if it helps you. So let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm thrilled that you're here. I'm Belinda Sandor. I'm going to be your host for this episode, and we're going to talk all about having a niche. And for those of you who've been around me for a while, you know this is a really hot topic for me, and one that I really go against conventional, wisdom about how a lot of people are talking about it. So hang tight because we're going to dive deep into why when this works and when this doesn't work. Okay. So I'd love to hear where you're coming in from. And so tell me in the comments. So it looks like we've got Carrie from Iowa. We've got Frederica here from Amsterdam. We've got someone from Calgary, Alberta. We have a few students there, so I'm wondering which one this is. But yes, please come right on in. Now, Lessons from the Cockpit is brought to you by the VA Connection. And at the VA Connection, we work with new and established and aspiring virtual assistants and help them get their businesses started and thriving using the skills they already have. Because I'm also a big believer that you don't need a lot of high tech. You already have the skills. So like I said, today we're going to talk about having a niche. But before we dive in, I want to introduce myself. I know we have a lot of new people here today. So here we've got Tammy's here, it looks like, from Stuart, Florida. We've got Dana from Colorado. Someone's from Cohasset, Massachusetts. Hello from Fort Myers, Florida. Hello, Svetlana's from South Africa. And Heather's here from Chattanooga. And Tristy from Montana. And Talara. Talara is here as well. All right, great, you guys. So keep on coming in. Keep on coming in. So this is a picture of me and my daughter, Emily. I had a really good talk with her last night. She's learning how to cook, which is super cool. And so we went virtual shopping. I was on the phone and she was going through the grocery store, and it was really nice. It was really nice. And this is us back in 2010 when she was 9 years old and I was just starting out as a virtual assistant. And this was one of the most challenging times in my life, to be sure. I used to refer to it as a lowest, but it just was really challenging. And mostly because everything was up in the air. Everything was up in the air. And I had kind of blown my life up, in a lot of ways because I wasn't where I thought I was going to be. So at 49 years old, I had this idea that I should own a home. I should have a great job. I should be happily married, maybe even have a couple of kids. Like I had this whole vision of how it was supposed to be. And it didn't look anything like that. What it looked like was I was a newly single mom. I didn't have a job. I had a ton of debt, like seriously a ton of debt. I hadn't paid the mortgage or my taxes for quite a while. And, we had to move a jillion times before I could settle in the right school district, in the right place. And that is also, it's intense to touch everything you own, 3 times and put it in boxes and, have that whole, kind of relationship with all the memories in your life, especially when you're not where you thought you were going to be. I was completely overwhelmed. And the thing is I didn't know where to start, right? I didn't know where to start. It's like, I need to make money. We need to survive. We need to find a place to live. We've got to, I was really worried about the IRS coming to my door and just all the things. And so, I kind of hunkered down. I stopped hanging out with a lot of my friends. I decided to just focus on how I was going to handle this and being a mom. And what I ended up doing was I knew that getting a job wasn't going to cut it because I needed to make some serious money. And I could not put myself in a place again where, even though I was in corporate for 17 years and I did well and I enjoyed it, I couldn't turn this around with those like 1 or 2 or 5% increases in pay every year. I needed to be able to seriously impact how much money I was making. So I decided to do admin work. Back in the dark ages, I was a secretary. I liked the work. I was good at the work. And I thought, I'm going to try that. And we're going to see what happens. And so I just started telling everybody that I knew, like everybody that I knew. And my first client I got at the school bus stop. One of the dads said, "What's going on?" I said, "I started my own business. I'm doing admin work." And his face completely changed. He was like, "Wait, what?" Because he started a business a couple months before, a month before. And I had no idea, which is good because if he had, I might not have told him because I would have felt weird about it, right? So I told him, and I remember him saying, "We got to talk." And we went to the local ice cream store in town. I remember we sat in a booth in the back and just put our heads together and started working together. And it was awesome. And the second client I got at a wedding reception. And so if some of you are prospecting, this kind of ties into the topic today of a niche. I want you to stop doing that and just tell everyone what you're up to. That's the way this happens, okay? So we're going to fast forward here a little bit. So my business, Rocket Girl Solutions, that's my virtual assistant business, has been in business since 2010. And I've worked with over 200 clients and made $1 million, over $1 million. The first year I was in business, I made $70,000. And every year after that, for the next 10 years, I made more than $100,000. And I did that from my home as a virtual assistant, doing the work myself. So no agency, not training people to do things, but as a VA. And so let's fast forward. This is what it looks like today. It looks really different, right? We've expanded. So this is my husband, Greg. We got married in the summer of 2021. He has 4 boys, David, Charlie, Stephen, and Andy. And there I am with Emily. And the thing that really turned this all around was I got pretty mad, about where I was. And I started to really hunker down and focus on the things that would move the needle in my business. And I stopped fooling around. And, we don't fool around on purpose. We do it because we're afraid. But it felt like there was nothing else for me to lose, right? It was like, I just need to get in here and make this happen. And after the first year and seeing success from the work that I put in, and then realizing that I could continue to do this, that I knew what to do to continue to make this happen, that was very exciting. And the debt is handled. The taxes are filed, and I don't have that crazy credit card debt anymore. I don't have that. And I feel like I can breathe again. And I feel like I have choices. And Greg and I, we're not in a big fat hurry, but we're looking for a house. We want to own our own home again. We've been renting for, 12 years or something like that. And we want our own home, and we know what we want. And, like I said, there's no rush, but in the next couple of years, we would like to find a farmhouse somewhere, with a bunch of acres, and expand our chicken population and, be in our own home. That's really what is meaningful for us right now. So if you guys are ready, you can do this too. You can 100% do this too. So let's dive into this whole niche idea, okay? Now, a niche is, there are different ways to niche. Now, I realize that everywhere you look on social media about starting your own business, they say you have to have a niche. I also realize that if you buy a business book on how to start a business, they say you have to pick a niche. I did that. I understand. But you don't have to do that. And we're going to talk about why, and we're going to talk about why it will hurt your business if you do. Okay. So just so we're all on the same page, there are 3 different ways to niche down. Okay. One is who you're working with. So you only work with coaches. Okay. You only work with real estate agents. You only work with, fill in the blank. The other is by service. So you only provide a certain service. Okay. So you only do email newsletters. You only update websites. You only write resumes. You only do transcription, whatever that is. Then the third thing is you combine the 2. So you only provide email newsletters for coaches. Okay. So those are the 3 different ways that you can niche. So if you have questions, put them in the chat because I'm happy to answer them. Now, like I said, the big question is to niche or not to niche, right? And the thing is that I tested this. A lot. I had a business before Rocket Girl Solutions, and I wrote this whole business plan, And what I realized pretty early on was it was complete fiction. Complete fiction. Like I was deciding what my median price was going to be and what people were going to buy. It's like how do you make that up? Yeah, there's no real market research on that, or none that I could find that made any sense other than telling me I had to have a niche. So here I am, brand new virtual assistant, and I decide I need a niche because that's the only way I'm going to make any money. So I decide that I'm going to work with startups. Startups are cool. They're kind of sexy, right? And I know a lot of stuff about running a business because, I was an admin. I was a business manager like an office manager for a business. So I know all about a lot of stuff. And I'm thinking I could go in and help them get started because I know. Well, here's what I didn't know. I didn't know any startups, right? I didn't know any people who needed that. So what I'm now doing is I'm running around looking for people who are startups, who want help, who have money. Where are they? I have no idea, right? So I'm meeting, all my friends are trying to help me, right? So they're putting me together with, people that know people that have startups. Okay, fine. So I start to meet with them, and this is what I found with startups. Now, this is not true of all startups, so this is grossly generalizing. But this is what I thought. What I found. I found that it was like people who had like this one guy. I can't remember his name, but he had an exterminating business, and his whole deal was he had a sister who needed something to do. She was going to get divorced, and she needed to make money, and she wanted to sell like essential oils or something, which is fine. She also had 3 kids. Now he's paying for this, so she has no skin in the game, and I can't get her attention. We never launched anything, right? And the other thing that I found is that with startups, they say, oh, my nephew is in college for graphic design and he's going to do the logo. Well, we never get the logo because he's also in a fraternity and he's also running for whatever class president, and he has no time, right? So that's what I kept hitting up against. And so what I thought was, okay, so I'm spending all this time looking for this ideal client. That's the other thing, right? Ideal client that I think I'm going to be able to help, and I'm not available for anybody else, right? So that makes no sense. So what I decided instead was to change what I was looking for, to broaden it, substantially, and look for people. Okay, let me stop right there. To stop looking for people and to be who I was. It was like I was a lighthouse and I'm running up and down the shore, like over here, instead of just putting my feet on the ground and saying, I'm a virtual assistant. I can provide admin support for entrepreneurs and small business owners. Okay. So in a way that is a niche, but a lot of people think a niche has to be, coaches in Chicago who train, who are, training basketball players. Like it's too narrow. Now, if you have been in an industry for a while and you have a specialty and a ton, I'm talking hundreds of people that are in that industry, or at least 100, then it's okay. But if you don't, that's okay too. Now, for those of you who are new, my virtual assistant business since 2016 has been charging $90 and $100 an hour to provide general admin support for entrepreneurs and small businesses. Okay, so there's no niche there, right? The niche turned out to be general admin support, okay, for people who can afford me, who are nice, that I like. That's the niche, okay? So if you're thinking that, if you've been thinking that you need the niche, you need the ideal client, all you're doing is putting a barrier in your path, right? It's something else to think about, something to decide, something to solve, when you just need to tell everybody you know what you're up to. Now, if you go to a networking event and someone says, what's your niche? Who's your ideal client? You don't have to come up with this specific thing that they're looking for. They're trying to be helpful, right? Because they drank the Kool-Aid. They think you need a niche, all right? So what you say is, I offer a general admin support for entrepreneurs. And then here, I'm reaching for my sticker, and then just stop talking. Okay, just stop talking. And you can tell them, yeah, I do PowerPoint and I do website updates, or I create graphics, or whatever it is. And it might not be general admin, right? But if it's not something specific, like technical support or graphical, creative support, make it admin, and that's fine. That's fine. What's great about that is people identify with it. They know what it means. And when they don't know what it means, that's when the trouble starts. Okay. That's where the trouble starts. So please, any comments I would love to see on this topic. It's one that I'm pretty passionate about because I do see it as a gigantic barrier. So if you think that you can't make the big bucks unless you're very specialized, please just erase that from your memory. All right, because it's just not true. And I've seen it with myself, but I'm not a unicorn. We have trained hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of virtual assistants who have successful businesses who are not niched down. Okay, they are not niched down. So, all right, I want to tell you about something that's coming up. So if you have any comments in the replay, wherever, let me know because I'm happy to answer them. But just really take a deep breath, and say to yourself, this is fine. All right, so this is great. So I've been struggling with that as I've been going to online networking events. I know. So one of the women, so I have a coaching program. It's called The Inner Circle. It's for people who want one-on-one support. And one of the women who is in that, we talked about that the other day and we role played because it's real, right? People are like, they want to know who's your ideal client, and they put pressure on you. And then what happens is, this is what she was telling me, and I can see this totally, is that if you don't come up with the right answer, they start to try to fix you, which is so uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable. And it's like, I really, yeah. So because it kind of cuts our confidence. And I can see that too. So I would come up with something that you practice that's really clear. I provide general admin support for entrepreneurs and small business owners. And then if they say, who's your ideal client? You can say something like, hold on, I had brain bubble. Who's your ideal client? You can say, really you can use the word niche. Okay. You can to satisfy them. My niche is really the work that I do. I've decided to niche down in that way. And what I found is that the services that I provide can be used across a number of industries. Okay. And then just here again with this. Okay. Stop talking. So that will satisfy them. Use the word niche, but in your mind, that, and that's true, right? That's actually true. It's by what your superpowers, and they're available to across all kinds of industries, because the work that I do, I've worked with financial planners. I've worked with coaches. I've worked with trainers, business trainers. I've worked with nutritionists. I've worked with gym owners. I've worked with dry cleaner owners. One of my clients owned a driving school. Many different. One of my clients teaches people he teaches people he teaches college women how to stay safe when they just go on campus, like very broad kinds of things, but the skills are consistent. All right. The skills are consistent. Yeah. Good. Donna says, good morning, Belinda. I'm used to doing everything. So no niche. Yes. And the thing is what's interesting is that when I tried to get a job right before I started Rocket Girl, what I found was that the workplace has seriously niched down. Like being a generalist didn't seem to get anyone's attention. Or when you're a VA and you just say, oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that. They're like, whoa, or I'll figure it out. They're so happy. So being a generalist is a good thing when you're VA. So stop listening to all that other stuff out there. Okay. And just stay right here. I got you. Okay. Good. All right. Now, more about this is coming up. So we are doing another VA Client Kickstart Challenge. I love the Kickstart Challenge. So if you haven't done it, put it in your calendar because we're doing it again, March 6th. Okay. March 6th is when we're going to start. And what's going to happen is I'm going to help you get a steady stream of clients in your business. And here's how I'm going to do that. On day one, we're going to talk about services. All right. We're going to talk about the services because a lot of people think that you need a lot of high tech. You need, very specialized services. You do not. Okay. You don't. So that's day one. Day two, we're going to talk about how to talk about your work so that people will understand and create a referral engine. And guys, this changes everything. So day two for sure. Day three, we're going to talk about And I call this strategic placement. It's like know where to put yourself so the clients can find you. All right. We don't want to go looking for people and telling them that they need a VA. We want people who know that they need a VA to come to us. And there's a very specific way to do that. And there's 3 ways that work like magic. There's a lot of ways, but we're going to talk about 3 ways that work. Okay. On day 4, we're going to talk about all about the systems you need to support the clients. Like, how do you run your own business and what are the things that you need to think about? And then during the 4th day on Thursday, I'm opening enrollment to my school, VA School. So if that's been on your wish list, you can enroll starting on that Thursday. On Friday, we have epic Q&A, and then from there, we have all kinds of bonuses and fun. We have prizes and drawings and, all the things. So put that on your calendar because we're getting started. Good. All right, you guys, thank you for coming to Lessons from the Cockpit. I'm thrilled you're here. And just take having a niche off of your plate so you can go out there and start having fun doing all kinds of work and find out what it is that you like, right? Figure out what it is that you like. Thanks for coming. I'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Bye for now.